He's actually going to go for sensor towers now. One in the middle of the map, one down at his main.
He has the orbital command done at this point. He just hasn't floated it over yet because he wants to make sure that he has full control over the center of the map. He does not want to lose that command center again. So he is being rather tentative. Probably could be affording to float it over right now, but he's just too busy positioning, checking things to be safe. And it looks like he's actually building another command center at the center base. Okay, the orbital command has now lifted off and is flying its way up to the third base. So he's going to go for a double expansion at this point, while he holds the center of the map.
Yeah, well, he needed to get something, to do something to get himself back in this one. We do see a medevac loaded up, and it's going for a drop, going all the way around. He's going to be spotted by a Marine, nicely positioned here by Bomber, though. Very smartly done.
Yeah, he's got multiple Marines sitting there. And, yeah, these sensor towers, though, from ASD are really well positioned. The problem is there's still a gap up here in the way that Bomber is trying to sneak around. He barely went through that sensor tower coverage, so ASD saw it. But if Bomber were to try and sneak around that, he'd still have a little bit of window to try and sneak into the third base up around this watchtower where he wouldn't be spotted. But ASD is sitting in a really good position to block off the army of Bomber, and he's going for a double expansion, so suddenly he's in a good spot to just sit here. But Bomber's going in for it, stimming in. Those tanks were completely unsupported. They were in the front. The Marines finally come up to cover them, but not after the tanks take some heavy losses. Bomber coming in again, trying to take down those tanks, but wasn't quite successful. That actually went better for ASD than it did Bomber, even though ASD was initially caught out of position because Bomber was trying to dance back and forth with his Marines too much.
Well, there was also the tanks on the left-hand side here for ASD that were covering him as well, and that has forced Bomber to back up, and now ASD is going to be a base up on Bomber. He's going to be up on the upgrades as well, don't forget. He's also got +3, finishing up in a second. But he hasn't started +3 armor, whereas Bomber has. That is going to be very frustrating for him. But the fact that he has these 4 bases now is going to be huge. We do see this drop is just sitting over here. It did come in a little bit earlier as that was going on.
You can see that this refinery was slowly burning down, but Bomber notices it and is going to repair that back up. That's actually pretty important at this point in the game. Being able to keep up with that tank production is going to be really important. If he fell behind in that gas and then that tank production slipped just a little bit right after a big engagement, it could have been troublesome, but unit counts are still in favor of ASD at this point. 94 Marines to 43, and he's only behind by 4 tanks. So given that those Marines are very well upgraded at this point, that's actually a pretty significant difference for ASD right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So we do see Bomber coming down yet again, but ASD needs to be careful here. He's going to be on the low ground. Scan does go down. These tanks are well within range of each other. He's going to try and come around and flank it here, but there are Marines here to back up at the top. He's losing quite a few tanks, but bringing down his Marines to clear this out. He's going to lose quite a few of the tanks, though.
Yeah, ASD only lost a small number of his tanks, actually. He still has 6 on the field compared to the 11, and now without any Marine support, ASD can do that. And that's going to be a bigger problem, because that is every single tank that Bomber has. Now he's chasing down the remainders of this army, trying to see if he can get some of those medevacs, but it's not going to happen. That was actually really well done, because the tank count's now 7-1. They're even on the Marine counts. He's got that 4th base up and running, and Bomber's only just finished. So Bomber's in a really tough spot right now, with just 1 siege tank, pretty much.
Yeah, the siege tank count is really going to hurt him soon. I did just see 15, I swear to God I saw 15 Marines in production for Bomber at one time there for a second. ASD moving forward. He needs to be careful about this watchtower, though. He knows he can't walk into that. And these guys are going to be even on bases yet again.
Yeah, but ASD still is clinging to the advantage. That tank count is really important in these later stages of the game. If either player gets to that critical mass of siege tanks where it just tears apart bio, while their opponent isn't quite there yet, it can be really bad. Nice snipe on the medevac there by Bomber. Stimming forward, seeing one stem medevac and taking it out. If you can keep the medevac counts down in these types of Marine tank wars, that's actually very helpful. Limits the amount of stim packs your opponent can use. And that's the one thing that Bomber has going for him. He has 6 medevacs in comparison to the 4 of ASD, and ASDs are pretty low on energy compared to his. So Bomber is going to be able to afford some more stims, some more positional wars going on through that, and that could be a way for him to try and drag himself back up into this game.
Yeah, that's very true. And from now on, it's going to be these guys are going to have to be very, very careful. ASD's up on the upgrades. Did he get his +3 done? He did. Okay, so he's going to be at about a minute and a half faster on his +3 for his tanks. He'll most likely start armor after that. High sec auto tracking going down now as well, just because he's going to have such a big bank so shortly. He's got 2k gas. Moving forward onto this 4th base here for Bomber, but he's stuck into that choke point.
That positioning, like, that was not a really good setup on his siege tanks. There's no way for his Marines to get out in front to protect those tanks, so he is backing off. But look at this, ASD scouts this portion of the army coming around for Bomber and is able to reposition in time to stop it. That was
Barely.
pretty nice.
Barely able to get there.
There's no medevacs here for ASD here, so he actually needs to get some tanks sieged up, because Bomber's Marines are winning that quite handily with the medevac support, but he does get some siege tanks up there. Suddenly he is able to turn that back into his favor.
Oh, picking off medevacs left, right, and center now as well. Needs to back off because the tanks are in the way now. 17 Marines at once for Bomber right here.
Yeah, neither player's actually thrown any extra factories into this point. It's very confusing. We're 23 minutes in the game, and both players are only double producing tanks. Okay, right as I said that, he finished another factories now triple producing tanks, but Bomber is going to have to start doing the same. Usually you can see upwards of 4 factories making tanks at a time at this point in the game. Both players are being rather conservative about their tank production, which is rather surprising.
Yeah, at the same time, we do see a 3 medevac drop going down, as well as another drop for ASD going down here at the bottom. And this is going to be quite frustrating for ASD. Yeah, he does have 1 turret there, of course, but he's going to have a hard time bringing units back. Here we go.
Because the range upgrade and the low health turret, medevac is the one in front. It does go down. He was not expecting the range upgrade on that turret. It's very cheap. He had no extra use for that engineering bay because he's done with his infantry upgrade, so you might as well pick it up. Made a decent difference there. Now his medevac's getting into position, going to move in to deny this 5th base, which it looks like he should be able to do without any problems, while both the armies are positioning next to ASD's 4th. Once again, ASD getting off a lot of really good tank shots on return, while Bomber is making up his mind if he wants to attack or retreat, taking a lot of extra tank hits on his Marines. He needs to stop being indecisive.
Yeah, Bomber is actually now at 30 supply down. ASD has his bases nicely set up. ASD, of course, took out that command center, morphing down in the bottom right. And he's actually moving out. Is this Bombers or ASDs? There we go. ASD is actually trying to make turrets there. He's going to be taken out before he can do so, though.
Yeah, and this is the point where things are kind of being... The pressure is tilting more towards Bomber at this point. They're even on the tank count, but ASD's just getting the better of all of these engagements. He's got his 5th base up and running. He's going to be able to produce some extra production buildings. He's working on his 6th.
He's got his a whole little squad of units down here. If he can defend his 4th and put pressure on here at the same time, he should win straight up right now. Because if Bomber feels like he needs to go into this 4th base, and while this is happening, ASD has actually gotten around the sensor tower down here to the 3rd.
Oh no,
my god.
Bomber sees it and lifts off, but the orbital command is going to die anyways. This is where Bomber should be attacking right now, because half his army's out of position. And Bomber's taking a long time to react here, while ASD's army's just sweeping in on his 4th base now. Bomber's still not going okay. There he goes, finally attacking in on ASD's army, but he waited a long time. And you can see that ASD's positioned very nicely. He's actually holding this off.
Yeah, the Marines coming in after the first couple of tank fires. SCV's coming out to clean up those tanks. It's actually going to work out better than you expect. And there's the GG. Oh my god, ASD will take that one down. Very nice maneuver there by ASD, sending those units out to take down the 3rd and then the 4th of Bomber. Really sealed the deal for him, and that is absolutely good. Great news. Like, that's a great first game to go on into this TVT. We'll be right back with game number 2. Stay with us.
Hello, my name is Byung-jae-ho. I'm Tower Terra. You watching FXO TV.
And let's get this going. Game number 2 between FXO's ASD and StarTale's Bomber. Very nice job by ASD closing up the series in the... sorry, not the series, the first game with that nice little counter-attack and defense. Really sealed the deal for him in the end. I am Unstable, joined here by Railkin. We're going to go game number 2 for the FXOpen Invitational Series. Upper bracket round 1. The winner of this will go on to play Dongregu though, if I'm not mistaken. Not exactly the most fun thing to have happen.
Yeah, that's the problem with this tournament is like you get one really hard match in the first round and then you go right into another really hard match in the second round if you win. Yeah. And then if you lose, you go into the loser bracket right into another really hard match. So it's a win. There's like a lose-lose situation when it comes to trying to get a better matchup out of these. But that last game from ASD was just really impressive. His positioning on his units the entire game was just amazing, culminating in that last stand where he held off the entire army of Bomber with half of his. Like, that's just completely ridiculous. They were even on upgrades. It was literally like half the units. Bomber came in with a pretty good flanking maneuver. Yeah. His positioning was just so perfect that he held it off.
Alrighty, so we do have ASD over here as the pink Terran, of course, as he always loves using that color, and we got Bomber over here as the blue. He's actually gone for Rax and Gas here. ASD looks like he's going to go for the 1 Rax Expand. Interesting. He did go for the 15cc last game, of course, and then tried to get a third up earlier. If he'd just been in the position to defend that third, the game would have been over so much quicker. But Bomber did a really nice job of coming around the watchtower, and people need to start doing that more often because it catches people so off guard. It's not funny.
Yeah, it's just... The issue was Bomber kept changing his mind halfway through battles on if you wanted to actually continue attacking or withdrawing.
Yeah. And
just letting your Marines take those extra tank shots is really something you can't afford to do. And it really started to take a toll on him. So he's going to have to try and be more decisive here in this game if he goes for a similar strategy. Looks like we're going to see Reaper expansion from Bomber over on the other side of the map. This is one of those strategies that's similar to the 2 racks in PvP that just is constantly falling in and out of favor as the metagame shifts back and forth. So, you know, it's starting to happen again more recently, and people are just going to adjust accordingly.
Yeah. Alright, so double gas coming up here for ASD. Straight after this, he's only going to have 1 Marine on the field. This is going to be painful. He's got his SCV. Oh, almost gets that. But if Reaper comes in, for the expansion, and that's going to give away the fact that there's a Reaper, and ASD instantly starts a second Marine. He's going to have to be careful on where he positions these to try and stop it jumping up the cliff. But if ASD can stop this...
on the way.
Sorry?
So there's a second Reaper on the way, so if he waits for the second Reaper, he might actually be able to try and catch some of these Marines off guard, but it looks like he's guessing that he's going to come around the top, and Bomber's thinking about it. This is one of the things that was really amusing. There was a game recently where somebody was covering their cliffs, but the Reapers just went up the ramp because there were no Marines there.
It'd be quite funny if he puts a bunker down where the expansion is and 6 to 2 Reapers in it.
Oh my
because
God.
Honestly, what can you do? What can ASD do against that? Like, he's just going to be delayed for God knows how long.
For a while. You'd have to get some Marauders out to be able to deal with that.
Yeah.
And that would be a pretty decent delay.
There we go. He's getting vision of the high ground before he runs his Reapers up. Very smartly done. He's going to... Oh, nice micro there by Bomber. And just randomly hits the supply depot. But the Marines will be taken out. And now he's going to be able to go free reign on these SCVs here. Bomber coming in really strong. ASD faltering a little bit there. Oh, almost gets that Reaper. But nice control by Bomber. And there's just nothing, because he built the reactor. There's nothing there. Like, he can't do anything.
ASD was not expecting the second Reaper because he started that reactor. Nice job with that SCV. Oh, drilling both of the Reapers to death with the SCVs. He still lost quite a few workers there. 7 workers down. He just wasn't expecting the second Reaper. He thought he was safe to throw up that reactor, and it just wasn't. Yep. He has a Hellion out now. His command center's already finished, which is going to be the one favorable thing for him and allow him to rebuild these workers a little bit faster. So it's not as bad as it looks, but it was just a really good opening there by Bomber, getting a lot of damage in.
Yeah, absolutely. So, second rack's coming down now. Bomber's already got his expansion up and running much before ASD's. He's going to start going ahead in the work account as well. Going 3 racks here, and Stim almost finishing up, so Bomber might actually be in a very good spot for this game.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with the Reaper opening there is that if it gets completely deflected, it actually puts you a decent amount behind because of the 100 gas in particular.
Yeah.
But since he got in there and did that damage, he's in a good spot. He got his command center down and landed at his natural before ASD's, even though his was done significantly sooner. So it really just depends on how they transition out of this. It looks like Bombers can be once again starting off with the bio. He's mixing in the Marauders this time though. So he's probably going to wait longer before he actually switches into the tanks. Could go for the pure bio. We've been seeing that a lot recently. And it's actually been winning a lot versus mech. But ASD's not meching. He's going for Marine tank again, it looks like.
Yeah. But he will be completely safe against any kind of aggression that might come out here from Bomber. And I wouldn't be surprised for Bomber to realize that and just go straight for a very quick third. He will have the more mobile army, of course. So we will be able to defend a lot easier. And actually, double reactors going down on these 2 barracks. So as we saw in the last game, 17 Marines at a time, no problem for Bomber.
Yeah, that's...
Oh, but ASD's army out of position here. And I don't think Bomber's realized.
Bomber,
he had a perfect
Bomber
chance
hesitated.
then.
He was waiting for these extra Marines to come in to support. He has Stimpack done, which ASD doesn't. The problem is those 2 siege tanks are very huge force this early in the game.
Yeah.
As long as ASD protects these, make sure that they don't get too far forward and that Bomber can't snipe them. That's really going to make sure that Bomber can't attack in on him and do anything. But he's actually grabbing this army with a couple SCVs. He's going to head down, try and put some pressure in on Bomber, maybe throw down a couple bunkers. I kind of combine those two instead of Bomber and bunker.
Alright, so with this bio force in, Bomber's going to have to be careful because as ASD pushes forward, he really wants to get a flank on him. Due to the map architecture of this one, it shouldn't be too difficult. He just needs to be very calm.
What Bomber's doing, like, he just waits until ASD's unsieged moving forward, then he just moves forward his army, makes ASD have to stop and siege up, and then backs off. He's really just slowing down this push a lot by poking forward, showing his army, saying, if you stay unsieged, I'm going to stim in, I have Marauders, that's not a good thing for you. So he's forced ASD into slowly pushing forward. He's bought a lot of extra time to get more Marines out. He actually hasn't added many Marauders in on top of this. It looks like he was going to go for Marauder composition. He's actually a pure Marine.
Yeah, but he's going to go for it here now before the bunkers get up. And the SCV's coming in to take the brunt of the first tank fire. He's going to get through the... No, he doesn't. He pulls back. He does now have his own tank. No siege mode just yet, though. And ASD is slowly moving forward.
This bunker is going to finish. That's going to be a problem for Bomber.
Oh, that tank being too close. Thank God there's no stim.
The Marines are chasing away the tank, and now the Marines are in. The medevac's dropping straight on top of ASD's tanks. ASD getting a little bit too far out of position, but only losing 1 tank for it, and Bomber traded a lot of Marines. And now the medevacs are going to fly right into the Marines in the center of the map. But yeah, ASD still has not even started Stimpack at this point.
Yeah, things looking very dangerous for Bomber here at the moment. He's repairing that tank. Siege tanks are actually going to be in range of his command center. And it looks like Marines are trying to catch them.
Getting caught by Bomber. It's actually trying to pick off some of these Marines and tanks before they can get in, but ASD's still pushing in on the natural.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Bomber, especially with those medevacs. But I have faith that Bomber can come back from this. If anyone can, it's going to be him.
Yeah, that's the problem, is the lack of stim from ASD. He still has not actually started this.
Yeah.
He's just now starting a tech lab onto his barracks to try and rectify this, so Bomber will have an opportunity. He's got some Vikings out, he's got 3 tanks, he's got Stimpack. If he swings around and goes for a really good solid flanking maneuver, maybe landing the Vikings on top of the army at the same time, but those Vikings flying right into the bunkers, one of them going down, the other one taking a very heavy beating. That's not what he wanted to have happen right there.
Yeah, and at the same time, Bomber can come in from behind with the flank as well. There's only 8 Marines here. Whoa!
Keeps doing that. He keeps coming into the tank rings with his Marines. He did that a lot last game. He really couldn't afford to lose those units.
think ASD is going to pack up and go home. He can't really out-damage the repair on that command center. And yeah, that's exactly what he's going to do. I'm surprised he hasn't started the third command center during all of this, though. He's got a lot of forces at home. He's actually going to try and catch these units in the middle of the map, too. Oh, he's going to lose medivac, though.
Oh,
we should lose medivac.
Now without stim, Bomber's actually going to be able to clean this up. There's where the lack of stim pack comes back to bite ASD. And since, like you said, he never got that third command center up, that actually puts Bomber into a decent position. Even though watching that whole engagement at the natural, it looked like ASD was really putting it to Bomber. The lack of stim pack here from ASD has actually put Bomber in a favorable position. You can see the worker count is pretty much even. He's now has the supply advantage. He's got 10 army supply over ASD as well. And he's trying to push out and retake the center of the map, which is going to make it very difficult for ASD to actually secure a third base.
I think he's just, like, ASD is only just now getting stim pack. I think it would have just been a flat-out forget. Whoop.
It is 40 seconds away, so there's still quite a while until he's going to be able to finish that. And Bomber's just roaming around the center. Wants to make sure that ASD doesn't have a third base, because his isn't down yet. But if he can just keep control of the center here, keep moving back and forth, hold both these watchtowers, he could probably get his third base up significantly sooner than ASD's, even though the third command center is already done for ASD.
Yeah, you will have the mobility. He's also got that marine there, like you were saying. It's only just now started at the third command center for Bomber. The sensor towers in the main for ASD really likes those sensor towers. Came really handy in the last game. But that being said, both of them are fairly even on worker and army supply. It's going to come down to, can ASD actually catch Bomber before he gets in a good position. But the fact that Bomber has the middle of the map, I don't think so. This map is very frustrating for a Terran to defend on, because you can creep up and you just choked into one's defensive point. Whereas on the other side, they can come in very slowly, and you can't really do anything about it. And we do see Bomber moving forward here into the siege, into the sensor tower range. And is he going to siege up underneath this cliff? No, he's going to go home.
I think he's just drawing ASD back, because ASD sent 2 Marines over to check these expansions, which is very smart. Instead of just flying the little command over there, cleared out the 1 Marine that was sitting there. He hasn't shown which base he's going to be expanding to yet, but this is the problem. The command center for Bomber is just about to finish, and ASD's is still sitting idle in his natural, only just now lifting off. So Bomber, wandering around the center of the map, has had a very noticeable difference on the game. It looked like ASD was going to be taking a huge economic advantage, but Bomber actually has more SCVs right now. He's mining on his third base, getting better income, and that really all just comes down to that control of the center of the map. ASD does have 1 drop moving around through the center, but it got caught by an SCV, so now he has to rethink if he actually wants to go for it or not.
Yeah, we do see a drop lifting up here to go into the main, but this turret's going up at the same time. That turret... No, actually, ASD is pausing it for a second. We do see an engagement in the middle of the map, though. ASD going very far forward. There's actually 2 tanks down to the south he could have picked off, but he's going to back up instead. And now his third base that is going up at the moment is actually going to be in a bit of a trouble.
Yeah, Bomber's going to apply a lot of pressure onto it. His tank line is very thin, though. ASD, if he was aware of this, could actually pick off some 3 tanks, but he can't afford to be throwing the forces into that. He needs to be having everything up here to defend his third at the moment. But look at this, Bomber has successfully forced the orbital command away. It's lifted off, taking shots from these Vikings. And this means that Bomber is just getting farther and farther ahead economically. Oh my god, the SCVs! Oh, he withdrew his tanks. So, I thought that huge clump of SCVs was going to go right in the tank range. He was going to lose like 30 workers.
Yeah. Looks like Bomber's actually swinging around though to the other end and might come in through this passageway up here. He's got more reinforcements joining him here. He is 15 supply up, maxed out here for Bomber. He's at 2-2 upgrades to the 1-1 for ASD.
There is a planetary fortress though, and he does not drop the Marines far enough away. And at the natural of ASD at the same time, Bomber kind of attacking into a bad choke point, but this time ASD is the one being indecisive with his Marines, taking a lot of extra tank shots. That gives Bomber a huge advantage. Now he's dropping up into the main base. This is looking really, really bad for ASD. He's in a terrible position, completely unable to engage his army of Bomber right now.
He's actually going to go for a counterattack, but I'm not sure how well that'll work because he's considering he's 30 supply down. Bomber's realized that, left a few Marines to finish up the production facilities for the ASD. At the same time, he's already sieged up, ready to wait for this force to come through. I think, yeah, there's the GG from ASD. So Bomber takes game number 2, and will tie up the series 1-1. Let's go into our game 3, shit, Railcoon.
Hi, we are FXO team. You are watching FXO TV.
Here we go, Railcoon. Game number 3 between FXO's ASD and StarTale Bomber. 2 very interesting games that we've seen from them so far. Let's see if they can continue this streak, because it's been actually a TVT that I've been interested in, which doesn't happen often, because a lot of them are very boring to me. But then again, I have weird taste, because I love ZVZ, so you can't really take my word for it. That being said, we got ASD down here at the bottom left as our pink Terran, and Bomber as our blue Terran at the top right. If you want to see these guys earn more money from the next Invitational series, feel free to subscribe down there on Twitch. Not only do you get no ads, but you're also in the running to get some replay packs, Razer equipment, signed FXOpen stuff, and of course the main prize of 10-day pass to the FXO house in Korea. But I don't know, who do you think is going to take this one, Railkin?
Like I said earlier, I'm biased. And I'm just going to say that ASD is going to win because I'm biased. But they're both playing pretty well. You can see that these last 2 games have just been a really good display of the way Marine Tank works. It really comes down to one big engagement a lot of the times when it gets into later stages of the game. One person sieges up faster, gets their army in a better position, and then the game just tilts in their favor. So if we continue along that path again of Marine Tank versus Marine Tank, it's really just going to depend on who's just on the ball a little bit better. It'll come down to the mechanics, but I'm still rooting for ASD.
Yeah, exactly. Alrighty, so we do see a Barracks in an unusual position over here, maybe just to try and deny scouting and try and throw Bomber off. Both of them have gone for their gas, though. The thing is, a lot of Terrans these days aren't scouting too early. And this might not work out all that well for ASD, but we'll see.
It's funny how on some of the maps like Antigua, where there's really abusable spots because of the cross spawns only where you can proxy stuff,
Yeah.
there's still a lot of people who aren't scouting even on those maps. Even though it's becoming very common to proxy in Terran vs. Terran on those maps because people don't scout. People are really punishing it hardcore. People still aren't scouting. You can see that ASD is scouting around with his SCV a little bit faster than Bomber is, so you can see at least they are scouting this time. But on Tall Dream, it's not quite as easy to do that kind of shenanigans on. There's no forced positions at all. There's no real safe place to be dropping those buildings. This SCV is going to get denied, but he will see that factory. And that's going to tell him a good amount of information for now, because he knows it's not going to be any sort of gasless expand.
Well, he's got his own factory coming as well, so it shouldn't be too bad. You see him selecting his barracks. There we go. We do see a reactor on it. Might actually see some Hellions pop out. Useful on this map if you can get into their base. Good travel speed. But a lot of people do what Bomber's doing here. Like, they put the Marines on the top of the ramp, and there's no way to get splash damage on them. There's no way to really run past them without taking a lot of damage. And there we go. Bomber has actually been denied scouting. So a scan coming down from Bomber might actually miss this if he wants to. As we can see, he knows nothing.
The issue is that ASD, with what he's doing right now, he could easily do the split attacks with the medevac, or, I mean, it's Tall Dareen. He can go up through the third and hit these Marines from the side. So, I mean, on this map in particular, hanging out at the top of your ramp with the Marines is not going to completely deny Hellions as well. There are still going to be other options to either sneak in there. And since your Marines are this far forward on Tall Dream, that means that they're far away from the mineral line if the Hellions do get dropped in. So Bomber is going to have to back off here in a second and reposition his units. He has a tank out now, so he could withdraw back to his choke point and be pretty safe with that tank.
Yeah. We do see the starport going down. We got a Viking coming out first. I'm not sure if... Was that a misclick? He put it on the tech lab.
He scouted the really quick factory from Bomber, and he's not... Just wants to make sure he's going to be safe against a Banshee. It just means that, you know, you can see he's not making a whole lot of Marines right now. He's not going to be doing anything too crazy early on with the Hellions. Wants to make sure the Bomber doesn't catch him off guard. It's a consideration. This is a big map. If a Banshee catches you off guard when your units are out of position, it's going to take you a long time to get back there and defend against it.
Oh, there's the scan from Bomber. Let's have a quick look at what he sees. He sees everything rearranging. He sees the Viking as well. Not really going to give him that much information because the Viking's not really going to be all that useful. Second Viking on the way now is at the same time. We've got Marines, we've got tanks coming forward, and a Bomber pushing out at the middle of the map. He's going to have siege by the time he gets over here. But look at this. Railgun, we got 5 Hellions. Are going to completely run... Oh my god, there's SCVs coming too.
Is he going to... Oh, he's not going to catch the SCVs. He almost would have. But he decided to go up through the third base, and this is actually looking really, really bad for ASD. His entire army is out of position.
Yeah.
And he has 2 Vikings.
Here come the Hellions, though. Is Bomber going to lift up the depots? No! He's going to get in here and go, where are all the SCVs? That's not cool.
Tricky situation, but still, it looks like Bomber has the upper hand with the Marines and the tanks, siege mode, and all of these SCVs. There's no way that ASD is going to finish siege.
Well, he's got SCVs as well, remember. There goes the siege mode. Is ASD going to try and wait? Looks like he is. Wants to get another tank out in time. But, oh, the Marine's getting a little bit too far forward. The SCV's being drawn up. And
yeah,
Hellions taking out a tank in the main base of Bomber. And there's that extra tank here for ASD. But he is a good 15 supply up. Some of that is over here in the other base, though. And here comes ASD in the main.
The Hellions are landed. He has every single SV with this. Bomber has no workers right now unstable, so if he can clear this out, this would be a complete reset. But now ASD's workers are down. The landed Vikings are actually the most DPS that ASD has, and they are going to be able to tip the tables with that. The landed Vikings able to take out the rest of those Marines. The Hellions are still in Bomber's main. That's it.
Oh, just as a tank was about to go down, right at the end, there's a GG, and ASD will take down the series 2-1 over StarTale's Bomber in, to be honest, some quite interesting games too. So stay with us. We'll be right back with the winner of the first.
No, that's it for today, isn't it?
No, but we got to actually go to the winner of the prizes, Railgun. You forget about the prizes.
Oh, right.
So this is your very last chance before today anyway to get down there and click the subscribe button. For $5 USD, it covers the entire tournament. You don't get ads. You're in the running to win Razor gear, signed apparel. We've got replay packs, etc. We'll go into, in a minute or so, into the live, actually, drawing of the prizes. So hopefully someone is very happy they're about to win something. So stay with us. Okay, so as I was just saying, I'm going to give people a couple of minutes to hit that subscribe button if they want to be in the chance to get these done. 2 prizes will be given away every day of the FX Open Invitational Series. Today is going to be a replay pack of your player of choice. You can also pick the matchup of your choice if you want to. And another one will be a signed FX Open jacket by your player of your choice again. So I'm going to go into a blooper reel from the production that we were getting done. That'll give people a couple more minutes. I'm going to get Railcoon to spam the link down in the chat if you want to be able to do it. So, enjoy this next little clip while we get into the prizes. Stay with us.
It's your turn. Announce yourself and tell us you're watching FXOpen TV.
You guys are watching FXO.
No, you're going to announce
Sorry.
TV, right?
You guys are watching FXOpen TV.
I am.
I am. What?
I'm FXO.
Oh. I couldn't hear you, man. My eyes are kind of. My name is FXO Slot. I am a player for FXO. You guys are watching FXOpen TV.
이거 보고 해. My name is. 지금 우선 이거 하고.
뭘 하고
다른 사람 먼저 하면 되는데요?
뭐 그냥 다 게임하고 있잖아.
뭐라고 하라고요?
My name is. My name is. 지술채. 바로 하고 자세 줘.
You are watching. You are watching.
You are watching.
watching
FXOpen
television.
You're watching FXO television.
조시 메인 고. 조시 메인.
어떻게?
조시가 메인
아니
했고.
메시지. 어떻게? Hi.
We are FXO.
Hi, we are FXO.
FXOpen or
You're
FXO?
watching FXO television.
You say TV. TV is here. TV.
잠깐만. 이게 어려워. 여기다. 어렵대.
FXO lean on.
저키 조절 좀 해야겠는데?
나
키 큰 사람들 뒤로 오고 좀.
자, 오케이. 자, 연습. 테스트.
1, 2, 3.
Hi, we are FXO team. You are watching FXO TV.
Yay!
누가 자꾸 버벅대.
야, 못할 것 같으면
너
싱크.
야, 자신 없으면 리싱해.
자신 없어 리신.
해봐.
Hi, we are FXO team. You are.
상민이 해봐.
Hi, we are FXO team.
진짜. 이걸 못하냐, 이거를.
미치겠다 진짜.
해봐. 3, 2, 1.
이거 안 보이잖아.
Hi, we are FXO team. You are watching
FXO TV.
Okay, good.
Hi, my name is 형섭리. 스타크래프트 아이디 초이야. watching. You are watching FXOpen TV 텔레비.
TV television.
TV 텔레비전 뭐야?
멘붕이다 멘붕.
Again.
Sorry.
Say your name. My name is.
My name is 학수 Kim.
You are watching.
You are watching. You are watching
FX.
FXO television.
Okay, so let's do one more.
잠깐만.
뭘 또 졸라 뭐했냐? 졸라죠.
앞에 까먹었어 지금. 망했어.
Okay.
Hi. 내가 3, 2, 1 할게. 3, 2, 1. Hi, we are FXO team. You are watching FXO TV.
Okay, I am just setting up my random number organizer, and then we'll get straight into these prizes. So, last chance to sign up. Of course, it is all the profits that come from this event. Will go into the next event as well. FX Open does not retrieve. I'm trying to think of the best word. We don't take money out of esports. If it goes into esports, it stays in there. FXOpen considers esports advertising for them, so it's always good. All right, so I am gonna give. Here we go. Download subscriber list. Now, if you've won a minor prize, which is like the jackets, replay packs, etc., etc., you cannot win a second one. Okay, but if you win one of those, you will still be in the running for the house, the 10-day in the FXOpen house. All right, let's get this done. We go dink. All right, let's go generate. This is going to be for the. Let's go jacket first. Yes. All right, so we're going to give out the jacket right now. Who is that going to be? As my generate button is taking forever to actually go. Alright, winner of the jacket is going to be Valor02. I do not know your real name, I'm sorry. I don't know if you... Remember guys, you don't actually have to be online for these drawings. I'm just going to message you on Twitch TV anyway. So don't worry if you type up and you're not around for the live drawing of the stuff. That's okay. Alright, so Valor02, I'm going to PM you and get your details. Congratulations, you have won a signed FXOpen jacket. As I mark that all down. I don't actually see him going yay in the chat, so I'm going to assume he's not going to be online at the moment. You can get multiple signatures too, by the way. Okay, next up is going to be a replay pack. These things are your requests, so you can pick the player you want, and you can pick the matchup you want if you want, or like it can be a random thing, like just I want 10 replays of X, or it can be a specific one. All right, so let's hit that random number again, and it takes a while to actually show up. This website is cheating me. Alright, there is no way I can push Smoke Bomb, I think it is. Kush Smoke Bomb wins the replay pack. I will message you on Twitter, not Twitter, on Twitch TV, and I will get the replays that you request. Now, keep in mind that if said player has a matchup coming out in GSL or GSTL that they're practicing for right now, there will be a little bit of a delay because obviously we're not going to give you ones that he's going to use during that. While I trust you viewers, I don't trust you that much, okay? So congrats to Kush Smoke Bomb for that. So remember, after every single broadcast, the live ones, we're going to be doing this, two prizes after every one. We've got 3 weeks left in here, every Saturday and Sunday for Korea time zone-ish, and I think it's Friday and Saturday for US. Alright, so that is all done for today. I'm going to go and set up a rebroadcast right now for everyone, in case you missed the earlier games of the tournament. As of course... I'm just going to write all this down before I forget. Okay, so I'm going to go set up the... rebroadcast now. Stay with us, and we'll go. I think who started this one today? JuckG versus Ace. So JuckG versus Ace. The rebroadcast will be coming up right now. Remember, we are going to roll this rebroadcast 24/7. I believe it will be a calendared event again for the rebroadcast in the US time zone, but just down there in the other streams tab for everyone else. So bear with me while I get that set up for you guys. The stream will go down for about 3 seconds, 3 to 5 seconds, while I cut off the recording and restart it. So don't freak out.